Nice to see you today and welcome back. I brought a folk tale like before, and Eysele is here. Hello, say hello. Okay, Eysele, first of all, I had to get the mask because we're still in the pandemic. But first, we're inside so you can take it off, okay? So we're in a bubble. So Eysele is my ass and we're bubbling. We're bubbling together. But what's going on with this stuff here? Tell me what's with the fright wig? You look what's going on? Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah. You saw my hair and you thought it was a National Wig Day. Yeah? You think that's pretty funny? Yeah, you like that. All right. Gosh. I can't get a haircut. No. So you're wearing a wig to make fun of me. Okay. You like to make fun of me? Yeah, you like that. Great. Yeah. Meanwhile, I get emails that say, what a nice ass you have. And I tell you that. And what are you making fun of my hair? All right. Now, who made the wig? Oh, Nadine, our neighbor. Yeah. Okay. But she also made you the mask, right? Yeah. She's good with sewing things. She made you a fright wig to make fun of me. Okay, great. So Eysele has long ears. We know that. Eysele is my ass has long ears because Eysele likes to listen to long stories. And I like folk tales. And folk tales aren't so very short. Sometimes they're a little longer, but this one today is not so long. And the story says that there was once a poor woman who had 5 kids, and yeah, what? You want to say something? Okay, come over. And an ass, and she had. You like to be in the story, right? Always like to be in the story. Yeah, that's the fun part. You like to be in the story, so we'll put you in the story. So the poor woman lived with her 5 children and her burro, her donkey, her ass, and they all lived together, but they were very poor. And sometimes there wasn't enough food for anybody, including the donkey. That's sad. Ooh, I know it's sad. One day she looked in the cupboard, no food. She came to her neighbor next door and said, my neighbor, please help me. I have no food. I have no money. I have 5 kids and a hungry ass. And the neighbor woman said, I'm so sorry, my neighbor. I'm poor too. And it's hard to get by these days. And it's just hard to get along. And I don't have any food to offer you. I don't have anything at all. My cupboard is bare. So the woman went to the next neighbor in the village. Can you please help me? I have 5 kids. As you know, I'm very poor. I have no food. I have no money. The neighbor also said, I have no food either. Otherwise, I would give it to you. And she went from door to door, and nobody had any food to offer her. Everyone was broke, just like she was. Everybody was poor. Nobody had anything to give. What are they going to do? They're going to leave. And she took her 5 kids and she put them all on the donkey. Boom, 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 boom. But the donkey was strong and tough, just like you, Eysele. Yeah? You're pretty strong too. Yeah. And the woman left the village to look for food, and she's walking along with the donkey and the kids, and walking along looking. There was no food to be found anywhere until all of a sudden she just looked at the kids and she looked at the donkey, at the ass, and she said, the next thing I find, I'm going to take it home and cook it. And what was the very next thing she found on the road? No, it was not hay. No, it wasn't hay. It was a stone. And she picked up the stone and she said, I'm going to take this home and make sopa de piedra. I'm going to make stone soup. And the story comes from Chile, but people tell it all around the world. And she said, I'm going to make sopa de piedra. And the children looked at their mother, Mommy, and the donkey also. What? But I said I'm going to cook the first thing I found. I found a stone. I'm going to go home and make soup. So she got back to the village and she got the fire in the little courtyard and she put the big pot on and filled it up with water. And one kid brought a little salt and another brought some pepper and the donkey brought more water, blah, 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 filled up the pot, and she got the fire burning, and she put the stone in the pot. And the kids gathered around it. They didn't know. They looked at their mother. The donkey, too. Toot, 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 toot. But she just waited, and she stirred with a big wooden spoon. And stirred with her spoon. And by the way, it's funny. I told this story at the hospital where I worked, Baycrest. And I told it. And one gentleman, I gave him the wooden spoon. I had a wooden spoon. I said, take this spoon. Tell me about soup. And he held the spoon. He said, I love soup. And I said, really? Yeah, me too. What's your favorite soup? He said, I couldn't think of the name of his soup. You know why? He was a little bit old. He couldn't remember. But he just smiled and said, I eat my soup without the names. So here, this woman stirring this. It's pretty smart, I thought. Yeah. She's stirring, and all the kids. And the first neighbor woman who she had spoken to comes over. Buenos dias, señora. Yeah, hello, hi. What are you making in the great big pot? Oh, I'm making a special recipe. It's called sopa de piedra. Stone soup. What? The neighbor was so surprised. You're making soup from a stone? Yes, I am. It's going to be delicious, wonderful. You make whatever. You make soup from whatever you have in the house. I have a stone, so I'm making soup. It's very good. She tasted the spoon. And she said, yeah, it might be a little better with some onions, but, it'll be fine even without. And then the neighbor said, you just reminded me. I have some onions back in my house, and if I bring them and put them in the soup, can I have a taste of soup too? Por supuesto, of course, by all means, said the woman. Neighbor brings the onions, put the onions, and the woman's stirring, and so she even let her ass stir. What? Stirring the soup, and all the kids stirring. Another neighbor comes over. Hello. What are you making in the big pot? Oh, I'm making sopa de piedra, stone soup. And the neighbor was so surprised. What? Stone soup? Yeah, it's going to be wonderful, wonderful. But, it might be a little bit better with, some potatoes. But I don't have potatoes. You make the soup with what you have. And then the neighbor woman said, guess what? You just reminded me. Yeah, I have some potatoes. And if I put them in the soup, can I try the soup when it's done? Oh, by all means, said the woman. Of course you can. You're my neighbor. Of course, I'll share with you. And she brought the potatoes, chop, chop, chop. Put them in. Do you want to sit down, or you'd be more comfortable that way? Okay, sit. Yeah. What? Oh, are you going to get to eat the soup too? Yeah, okay, of course you will. You're my ass, of course. We're bubbling, right? Whatever happens in the story, you get to taste it too. Okay, you just make yourself comfortable. So the neighbor comes over, potatoes in the soup. Now stirring. So she's stirring the soup. Everyone's watching. And another neighbor comes over. Hey, senora, what are you making? I thought you didn't have any food. Oh, well, I didn't have food, so I'm making sopa de piedra, stone soup. What? Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Look, maybe a little barley would help, but I don't really need it. I have everything I need to make delicious soup. Then the woman said, you reminded me. I do have some barley. I've been saving it. But, if I bring the barley, put it in the soup, can I try the soup after? Oh, by all means, said the woman. So stirring. The woman brings the barley, puts the barley in. Now, you can think of many ingredients. I think one neighbor brought carrots, one neighbor brought a parsnip, and one neighbor had a chicken she'd been saving, not a young one, but an old one, because old ones are more flavorful. And when I say that, I'm 70 years old. I know what I'm talking about. And, yeah, what? Oh, thank you. Yeah, with my hair, I look 75. Very funny. You think you're such a card. Yeah, go away. So the neighbors are bringing everything. The chicken, they got barley. What else can we put in? The garlic, and what else? Everything good you can imagine. It was so good. Turnips. Did I mention turnips? All the neighbors remembered that, yeah, they did have a little bit of food in reserve. They'd been hiding it. They'd been holding on to it. They didn't want to share it the first time. But now, to make a sopa de piedra, they'd never even heard of such a thing. And by the end of the time, the soup pot was filled and bubbling with delicious ingredients. What else I could think of? Other things, maybe some squash. And someone else had an old chicken. Old chickens are pretty good sometimes, especially for soup. So makes the sopa de piedra. By now, the smell of the soup was pervading the village. The village was redolent with the smell of soup. That's one of my favorite words too, redolent. I like it. You know, when you're making something really good and the whole house is redolent with the smell of it. Yeah, it's a good word. So, and she made the soup, and her kids, and everybody brought everybody. All the kids, the old people came out, people even older than me. And old people came out, and they're all gathering around her yard, and they're smelling this delicious soup. And she said, bring your bowls too. Bring your spoons. There's enough soup for everybody. I made a sopa de piedra to feed the whole village. And they all brought bowls and spoons, and they gathered around, and everybody got a big ladle full of this thick, delicious, perfectly cooked soup, sopa de piedra, filled with all the good ingredients, and everybody ate their soup, and some had seconds, the kids had thirds, they were so hungry, and the woman waited till everybody else had been fed, and then she herself took a bowl and tasted it and said, it's one of my better sopa de piedras. Guess what? After people had feasted, the guitars came out, people started to sing, people started to dance. It was a real fiesta. Even the donkeys came to dance. You want to be in this part of the story too? Show us how the donkeys danced. And did they sing too? Hee-haw, hee-haw, hee-hee-hee-haw. And it was a good old time. Everybody had fun. And you know, at the end of the evening, as people were going home, they were all saying, it's unbelievable she could make such a delicious soup from stone. A stone! Who would have thought you could make soup from a stone? And from then on, whenever anybody needed anything from a neighbor, it was always, please help yourself. I always have enough to share. If you came to that village and came to the gate and said, as a guest, welcome here, what would they say? A guest is a gift from God. And bring your ass too. You got to be in the story, of course. And so that's the story of Sopa de Piedra. And it's an old story told all around the world, but it's a good story for right now because here we all are, and we're bubbling, and we're waiting, and we're hoping, and this pandemic's going to be passing soon enough. It will, for sure it will. I mean, look, if you ever think you'd see an ass with a fright wig? Of course not, and nor did I. So you figure if something like that can be on YouTube, anything could happen at any point. So the pandemic will pass, and when it does, we'll be knocking on each other's doors and visiting each other's homes and making soup for each other. And what ingredients will we put in the soup? Love and trust and peace and joy and community. And that's what makes soup taste good, even a soup made from a stone. So that's the story. Sopa de Piedra. Say goodbye, Eysele. You're going to be back. That's quite the wig. And Nadine, we're going to have to talk about this. You're making wigs for my donkey to make fun of me. Yeah? Okay, and if you're bubbling, and I hope you're bubbling with a nice ass too, because that does make all the difference. And we'll say goodbye now. Thank you for coming, and see you again. Bye. Say goodbye, Eysele. Bye-bye. Say goodbye. Okay, you can stop waving. It's my, yeah, okay, bye. Bye-bye.